Hi everyone, let's get right into the heart of today's video. You've seen the title, What Will It Take to Love Hunt Showdown Again? To clarify, I will always love Hunt, but specifically I'm talking about the rut and community sentiment the game has experienced since the 2.0 update. And I'm going to ask you to answer that question, but hear me out first. This is probably a good time to highlight any new people watching this that I work for Crytek.
I'm a little biased.
So, take those biases as you will. I promise I'm not going to say that every video. We probably don't need to cover all the shifts and changes that have happened since my last upload, but there has been a lot of feedback and discussion throughout Scorched Earth, and then Harvest of Ghosts, and then Post Malone's Murder Circus, which was all an interconnected roller coaster through a cacophony of sound and a turbulent time in the world where it felt like everything was on fire, and some places literally were. The point is, I have aged 5 years since August of 2024, and now here in the lull before Update 2.3 in Garden of the Witch, Hunt Showdown's next event, it just felt like time to pick up the mic again and let go of some of these thoughts that have been bouncing around in my head like the Rune Tracer and Vampire Survivors. Guess what I've been playing a lot? If you've been following the game, you might have noticed more communication from our community team addressing player feedback, including this from a recent blog post highlighting that Update 2.3 and the event that comes with it will be lighter on new content and features as the team focuses on bug fixes and improvements, not just to performance hopefully, but to the gameplay as well, what it actually feels like to play Hunt Showdown in a moment-to-moment basis. To be clear, that doesn't mean Update 2.3 will be the single update that fixes it all. To be honest, there probably isn't one single update that can be the panacea for every poison. But Update 2.3 puts us on the road toward Hunt being where we want it to be, we being those who play the game. Although I haven't been posting, I do follow pretty closely on Reddit and the official Hunt Discord, and even in my own Discord, I read it all so much. And if you do as well, you've likely noticed a trend of rose-colored glasses for old Hunt. Not just the months leading up to the Update 2.0, but the 2023 Tide Trilogy, or even way back in the 2022 era before we even knew what a Stalker Beetle is, or even all the way back to the E3 trailer and the early access period, which I still see people mention. There is a loose notion that things were better before, but when you try to get specific, the answers vary depending on who you ask. For me, there are some changes in 2.3 or detailed in other blog posts that fill me with hope. The team shared a vision in a recent post for where they want to take the UI, which I will link to in the description, and those improvements look really great. Also, it was announced that revive bolts are being removed in Update 2.3, which after the novelty wore off were just a real pain to fight against. These are meaningful things, but they don't necessarily bring everyone back or get people to change a negative Steam review, and so it will likely take many more smart, thought-out changes and revisions and innovations, combined with all the things that Hunt already gets right, like its art style and its combat, when it feels well balanced. It will require a whole symphony if a symphony actively took feedback from the audience and tuned the piano or something. Anyway, I bring this up because I'm curious how people are feeling about Hunt, especially when directly asked. Specifically, I want to know if any of you have lapsed from playing Hunt. Maybe you're playing other things like Helldivers 2 or Marvel Rivals or Arma Reforger or whatever the new game of the moment is. If you're in that camp, what is it that would bring you back home to Hunt? What is it that made you click on this video? Or even if you are still playing Hunt daily or weekly, but long for a time in the past when your Romero might not reload, or desync would send you over a guiding rail, what is it you feel is missing? Keep in mind, I'm asking out of my own curiosity, in this format that I feel used to keep me grounded on what people thought. I still love Hunt, but even I recognize it has gone through a very trying rough patch. And yet, despite that, and despite offering less content in the short term, and despite my proximity to the game having a greater effect on my emotions and well-being, I am feeling optimistic. I don't expect everything will be perfect in Update 2.3, or that everyone will like every change or revision to old Hunt, whatever era that is for you, but there is something tangible in the air. I've heard it in the voices of my colleagues, not to speak for them. I've seen it in the Steam activity of some old friends launching Hunt for the first time in weeks or months. I've seen old faces popping up in Discord that just haven't been around for a while. There is a pulse, and I think the devs and the community can resurrect what makes this game special, revive bolts or not. Anyway, that's the stuff that's been on my mind. Thanks for checking in with me. I hope you'll take the time to answer the title in the comments below, and until the next video, goodbye.